Hello, welcome to the Domain for Business Analysis Framework section. I know lots of you are getting ready for the CAPM exam and you're wondering, what is business analysis anyway? It might have thrown you for a loop, but today I'm going to demystify it for you. So let's jump straight into talking about business analysis. What is it? Business analysis is the process of identifying, assessing, and defining business needs in a firm or a department. The main goal of business analysts is to create an effective solution to move the company from its current condition or current state, if you will, to its future state. That's what business analysis is all about. And to be a great business analyst, you got to understand the requirements from the customer. You actually need to help the customer to craft the requirements, because a lot of times the customer doesn't know how to explain what they want in technical terms that the developers can understand. So we're talking about understanding, documenting those requirements, the processes, the stakeholders' expectations, and things like that. And one of the ways we do this is through something called a requirements traceability matrix. And I'm going to show you what a requirements traceability matrix looks like. I want you to follow me to the website I talk about so much on this channel. It's the CDC website. So go on down to tinyurl.com/Sigma PMO. That's tinyurl.com/Sigma PMO. I'll just show you an example because I know that examples help. When you're able to see something exactly as it is, it sticks. So let's look for a requirements traceability matrix right over here. Click on that. And that's a requirements traceability matrix. It's a matrix, it's a document, as you can see in Excel, that tracks the requirements to their origin. We have certain assumptions from the customer side in terms of their needs, but then we have the requirements. And you can see we have a functional requirement here. We have the status of the requirement. We have the architectural design document, technical specification. We have various fields that are going to map to each requirement. And then we want to know who asked for this. So we can actually insert a column, and you could call it requester, for example. If I was able to edit this, I would have added requester, because that's a very important one. You want to know who requested it. You want to know who verified it internally, and you also want to know who validated it, like the customer, the stakeholder, or so on. And you're doing this for each requirement. So when we talk about business analysis, that is the summary. To grab the requirements, to elicit the requirements, to document the requirements, to trace them all the way from cradle to grave of the project. You want to make sure that you truly captured the requirements. Okay? So let's jump into a little bit more detail about this exam. Task 1, demonstrate an understanding of business analysis, the roles and the responsibilities. You got to understand that a process owner, process manager, product owner are all different roles. But to cut to the chase for the exam, you just need to understand the business analyst is the one who deals specifically with these requirements and the elicitation of drawing out the requirements, putting the requirements in easy to understand language for the developers, and helping move the requirements forward. Okay. Let's move on to task 2. Task 2 is determine how to conduct stakeholder communication. One of the things a business analyst needs to be able to do is to recommend the most appropriate communication, the most appropriate tool. When should I use a report? When should I use a presentation? And demonstrate why communication is important for a business analyst. Can you do that? Well, it is important because the business analyst spends a lot of time eliciting those requirements. The meetings are all geared towards drawing out those requirements and solidifying the requirements. Number 3, it's a no-brainer. How do we get these requirements? Match tools to scenarios. Sometimes you should use user stories, other times use cases. Sometimes you should use a story map. Other times you should use something else. Identify the requirements gathering approach. Are you going to conduct interviews, focus groups, facilitated workshops, questionnaire surveys, prototypes, lessons learned, what is most appropriate. And then I showed you the requirements traceability matrix. That's where requirements in the traditional sense are generally kept. But in the world of Agile, we talk about a product backlog. So you could document whatever the customer is requesting in a product backlog in the world of Agile. Task 4, demonstrate an understanding of product roadmaps. A product roadmap just shows you the sequence of higher level events on the project. So you could have release 1, Q1, Q2, release 2. Within release 1, we have feature set 1 and feature set 2. For release 2, we have feature set 3 and feature set 4, for example. And then we could also have other efforts like the marketing or the sales and things like that. So your roadmap just shows you the sequence of higher level events, the timing of releases, features, and things like that. This is likely to be on the exam because it's an entire task. Task 5, determine how project methodologies influence business analysis processes. So you want to understand the role of a business analyst in a predictive setting is more relegated to just that one person. But in the world of Agile, it is distributed among the team members. We don't have one person and all they do is business analysis. We could have a team of individuals who are all somewhat involved in business analysis. And that's how it works in the world of Agile. Task 6, validate requirements through product delivery. So as you are delivering the solution, you need to understand if those requirements are inherent in the deliverable or not. So you want to validate the requirements. So you got to define the acceptance criteria, things like the definition of done, should be decided upon in the team charter, for example. You also want to determine if a product or project is ready for delivery based on a requirements traceability matrix like I showed you. And that's pretty much it. Now, why is business analysis so important? Let's make a business case for business analysis. 47% of unsuccessful projects fail to meet original goals. Why? Poor requirements management. There's no requirements traceability matrix. Now, a lot of what I teach, my friends, are things that are still used today. The stuff that I teach you about requirements traceability matrix, people are still using that. It's not obsolete. It's not replaced by, a product backlog and we'll never use a requirements traceability matrix. No, it's still used. It has its place. And it's a very good vehicle for managing requirements. I know this firsthand because I used it on a very challenging project to manage over 120 requirements from 7 different stakeholders. It works. Now, those organizations that demonstrate maturity in business analysis, they are 55% more successful. Think about that, than organizations that don't care about this stuff. So when you talk about business analysis, let's wrap this up. We talk about application of knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques to determine problems and opportunities, to identify business needs, to recommend great solutions as far as moving from current state to future state, to elicit, manage those requirements, to analyze those requirements as well, because it's not enough to just elicit them. We also need to analyze them and make sure they are complete and concise. And if not, we're going to go back and elicit one more time until we're absolutely sure we've got those requirements. We're also going to define benefits and approaches for measuring value, and we're going to realize value. We're going to analyze the results. And that's the mindset for the business analyst. Now, the business analyst, who is the business analyst? Well, the business analyst is that role. You got to remember it's a role, and the role could be played by a number of people. It could be played by one person in predictive. It could be played by a number of people in the world of Agile. Even in predictive, the duties of the business analyst do not always fall on the title business analyst. Sometimes it could be the PM. Other times it could be the project coordinator. And the PMI understand this, and that's why this is part of the CAPM exam today. So when you think about the business analyst is interrelating with all of these categories of people: the product and project team, external to the firm, the business, management, and so on. And for that reason, you need to be aware of how these relationships work. Stakeholders and customers, that's where we're going to elicit the requirements. The design team, the business analysts support these folks. What about governance? The BAs need to understand and collaborate with the governance team. When we talk about federal government, if your project is so related, then of course, the federal government, depending on the regulations and guidelines, you may need to establish relationships with government. So you need very solid interpersonal skills. Functional managers, you need to build relationships with them because they have the subject matter experts on their teams. Portfolio and program managers, BAs lend analytical expertise to those folks. The project manager is like the Batman and Robin of the business analyst, right? The business analyst is like Robin, the project manager is like Batman, and they make the dynamic duo. They're meant to get along together. The project sponsor champions the product and project, so the BA advocates on behalf of the sponsor. Other relationships are with the project team, the product team, product quality control, relationships with other business analysts and SMEs. The bottom line is a lot of interpersonal skills are needed. That's the summary. And you just need to understand the why behind it, the sensibilities. If you're working with people, business people and developers need to work together daily. The BA is one of the dev team. We have that role being played by people on that team. So when we talk about the world of Agile, there's a very, very tight sync with the world of Agile and the role of the business analyst. Just keep that in mind. Moving on, finally, my friends, there are 6 areas of knowledge and 6 process groups in business analysis. I'm going to cover them super quick so that you can move on and check out some of the other material that I will be showing towards the end. So, here are the 6 process groups. We have the defining and aligning process group. Then we have initiating, planning, executing, monitoring and controlling, and releasing process group. Okay. Then, in terms of the knowledge areas, we have a needs assessment knowledge area, the stakeholder engagement knowledge area, the elicitation knowledge area, analysis, traceability, and monitoring, and we have solution evaluation, which you can't see, it's hidden down there below. But let's talk about them one by one. Needs assessment is all about understanding the current state and determining what the future state should look like. Stakeholder engagement is all about engaging the stakeholder proactively. So you got to identify them, then you got to plan how to engage them, then you got to engage them. Then we have elicitation, the drawing out of the requirements. We have the analysis. We're going to analyze those requirements and make sure that what we got is concise and complete. We have traceability and monitoring, which is tracking all throughout the life cycle that these requirements are exactly what they were in the beginning. If they've changed or morphed, we need to update that. So the traceability matrix is front and center of this knowledge area. And last but not least, solution evaluation. Is this what we were looking for? Will this move us to our future state? That's what we'll be looking at in this next section. So I'm going to give you a very high level view. This is iterative. We don't just do needs assessment and then in strict rotation go to stakeholder engagement, never to go back to any of the other knowledge areas. No. You can see the arrows showing you that this is highly iterative and highly interactive. Okay. So the PMI in their business analysis standard, they talk about these 6 knowledge areas and they go deep into the 6 knowledge areas. So at a high level, needs assessment, analyzing current business problems or opportunities to understand what is necessary to attain the desired future state. Stakeholder engagement, identifying and analyzing those who have an interest in the outcome of the solution to determine how to collaborate and communicate with them. Elicitation, planning and preparing for elicitation, conducting elicitation and confirming elicitation results to obtain information from sources. Analysis, examining, breaking down, synthesizing, and clarifying information to further understand it. Now, when we say information, we're talking about these requirements. Then we have traceability and monitoring, tracing, approving, and assessing changes to product information to manage it throughout the business analysis effort. And lastly, solution evaluation, validating a full solution or a segment of a solution that is about to be or has already been implemented to determine how well a solution meets the business needs and delivers value to the organization. And that's it, my friends. Those are the 6 knowledge areas. Now I'm going to show you the level of detail that we're going to go into in the program, because this is high level. To understand it, we got to first go into process groups as well, and then we got to go into the individual knowledge areas. So let's take a look at one. This is how deep we go. Needs assessment. We want to understand what exactly is a needs assessment. Analyzing current business problems or opportunities to understand what is necessary to attain the desired future state. Now, just like we have processes in the world of PMBOK, we have processes in the world of business analysis. And you should at least be familiar with all of the 30 plus processes. So, process number one here in this needs assessment is identify problems or opportunities. You see, the advantage of this system that the PMI has had for a long time for knowledge areas, process groups, processes, it's just invaluable, because when you see it, you totally get the picture. You don't need any further explanation. Identify problem or opportunity. Identify the specific problem that needs to be solved or the opportunity that needs to be pursued. Then we talk about assessing the current state, which is a no-brainer, determining the future state, and determining viable options and provide recommendations. This is all common sense. When an unfavorable condition, why is that? How do we move to a more favorable condition? And then determine the viable options and provide recommendations. Then facilitate product roadmap development. Develop a product roadmap that aligns stakeholders and clearly illustrates how the solution will be released through incremental product deliveries. Then assemble the business case. Remember, the business case makes a case for the project. I hear you saying, oh, but this sounds like something from PMBOK 6, maybe PMBOK 7. Absolutely. The business case is not new. It's not rocket science, but there's a place where the business case and the requirements processes combine, where the business analysis processes combine, and that's what you're looking at here, my friend. Last but not least, we have support the project charter. Support the development of the charter. Remember, the sponsor is a person doing this, and sometimes the BA is called in to be a support. So you're going to get a business need, a current state assessment, business goals, feasibility study, product roadmap, business case, and product scope. And throughout, you could employ any of these concepts that you see. In the training program, I break this down into a lot of fine detail. So if you're looking for a course where you can very affordably cover Agile, business analysis, and more, you need to go on down to capm.pmsucceed.com, because we've got a startling deal there for you, where we're going to be providing you with a lot of content, but it doesn't last forever, so you need to take action now while you can. CAPM, that's CAPM.pmsucceed.com. When you hit that site, you are going to be blown away by the fact that we're offering you a full-blown study guide. We're offering you online learning management system and live training and coaching for the price of a few Happy Meals. So what are you waiting for? Go on down, check it out. CAPM.pmsucceed.com. That's CAPM, as in the CAPM exam.pmsucceed.com. I don't want you to miss out on this deal, this offer. It is absolutely bananas. The cool thing about this is, after you get certified, you're still going to have access. Think about that. You're still going to have access to the content, and this is going to help you way beyond. So the on-call presentations and stuff that are there, you're registered in there for life on Udemy. Once we give you access, if you keep your access, you'll never lose it. So that is a steal. Just that on its own is worth more than the cost that we're asking. All right, so go on down again. The website, capm.pmsucceed.com. Do not miss out on this opportunity. Okay, you're going to get, like I said, that huge book that has so much content. It's got so many questions in it and very robust explanations about project management. We cover all 4 domains in that book. So whether it is the world of Agile you want to explore, or maybe it's the world of predictive, whether it's the world of hybridization, whether you want to go crazy in the business analysis piece, which is almost 100 pages, highly advise that you do that. So right now, if you follow the link, I'm going to endeavor to put a link there for the entire course. But if you say, no, I don't want to do the entire course, I just want the book, we're also going to put a link to this book. It's called CAPM Exam Masterclass Course in a Book. Just go there, and I believe if you put in a code, which is CAPM deal, yeah, you actually get some off. So put in that code, download the book. If you are not able to come to the course, if you do want to come to the course, then just stay at capm.pmsucceed.com and you will be able to join the program. Okay, like I said, it's live. I'm interacting with you. I'm giving you tips and tricks of people who have already passed the exam and helping you get to excellence. All right, we might have one very soon. So go on down there, capm.pmsucceed.com, and I'll see you in the next bootcamp. Thank you and bye for now.